That loaf of bread sitting in your pantry right now, it's poisoning you, and the company that made it is laughing all the way to the bank. At this exact moment, you probably have bread in your kitchen that contains more sugar per slice than a Tim Tam biscuit, preservatives banned in Europe, dough conditioners so toxic that factory workers need protective masks to handle them. And you're paying $6, sometimes $9 for something that cost these corporations 40 cents to produce. I've spent the last month going through food safety databases, corporate financial reports, and ingredient lists from every major bread brand in Australia. I've consulted with nutritionists, reviewed international regulatory standards, and tested these products myself. What I found genuinely disturbed me. This isn't fear-mongering. This is about knowing what you're actually putting in your body every single day. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 10 brands are destroying your health and why they're getting away with it. And I'll show you 3 brands that are actually worth your money, including one surprise at the end that makes me angrier than all the others combined. Here's what they don't want you to know. 3 companies control over 75% of all packaged bread sold in Australia. 3 companies. That's it. Goodman Fielder, George Weston Foods, and Woolworths. These corporations have convinced regulators to let them use 15 different additives that are either banned or severely restricted in Europe. Think about that. The same loaf sitting on your counter would be illegal to sell in France or Germany. Most Aussies eat bread with breakfast, lunch, and sometimes dinner. If you're eating rubbish bread, you're poisoning yourself 3 times a day. Your kids are getting blood sugar spikes at school that wreck their concentration. You're programming your family for obesity, diabetes, and gut problems that'll cost you thousands in medical bills down the track. Let's break this down. I'm counting down from number 10 to number 1, the absolute worst offender. Each one gets progressively worse. Ready? Let's go. Number 10 is Helga's Continental Bakehouse range. Most people grab Helga's because it feels premium. The packaging looks European and sophisticated. The price is higher at $6.50 a loaf, so you assume it's quality. You think you're making a better choice for your family. Wrong. Let's look at what's actually inside. First up, vegetable oils. Canola oil and soybean oil specifically. Why does bread need oil? Traditional European bread doesn't. They're adding it to extend shelf life and create that soft, pillowy texture. But these oils are highly processed and inflammatory. Your body doesn't recognize them as real food. Then there's the sugar content. 3.2 grams per slice. That's more sugar than some biscuits. Your body processes this bread almost like cake, spiking your blood sugar and leaving you ravenous an hour later. And the sodium content? 400 milligrams per 2 slices. That's a quarter of your daily sodium intake just from your sandwich bread. Here's the real kicker. Helga's is owned by Goodman Fielder, the same company that owns Wonder White, Mighty Soft, and Abbott's Village Bakery. They're selling you the exact same factory bread under different labels at different price points. You're paying $6.50 for bread that cost them maybe 70 cents to produce. The markup funds the marketing that convinces you it's artisan. Helga's markets this as European-style premium bread. It's mass-produced industrial garbage with clever packaging. Number 9. Wonder White. This one's been around forever. Your parents probably bought it, and it's absolute garbage for your health. Wonder White is ultra-processed white bread that's been so refined it has virtually zero nutritional value. They strip away all the fiber, all the nutrients from the wheat, and then add back synthetic vitamins so they can slap enriched on the label. That's not enrichment. That's damage control. The first ingredient is white flour, which your body converts to sugar almost instantly. Then they add actual sugar as the third ingredient. You're eating sugar bread. The texture is that weird spongy consistency that compresses into nothing when you squeeze it. That's because there's no actual structure. It's air and chemicals holding hands. Wonder White contains calcium propionate as a preservative, which has been linked to behavioral issues in children and digestive problems in adults. Studies have shown it can disrupt your gut bacteria, the bacteria in your intestines that keep you healthy. that support your immune system, that affect your mood. This chemical messes with them. At $3.80 a loaf, it seems cheap, but you're paying for it with your health. Kids who eat this for school lunches get blood sugar spikes followed by crashes, which destroys their concentration and behavior. Teachers can literally identify which kids ate white bread for lunch based on their afternoon behavior patterns. Adults eating this are basically guaranteeing they'll be hungry again in an hour because there's no fiber to keep you satisfied. It's a cycle of overconsumption that leads straight to weight gain. Number 8. Buttercup White Sandwich. Buttercup is a budget brand, and honestly, you get what you pay for. This bread is so processed it barely qualifies as food. The ingredient list starts with enriched wheat flour, which means they've stripped all the nutrients out and added synthetic vitamins back in. Then comes sugar, vegetable oil, and a horrifying cocktail of preservatives including calcium propionate and sorbic acid. The texture is like eating a kitchen sponge. It has no flavor except vague sweetness and a chemical aftertaste that lingers. Here's something that should terrify you. I did an experiment where I left a slice of buttercup bread on the counter for 2 weeks. It didn't mold. It didn't even get stale. It just sat there, unchanged, like a piece of plastic. That's not normal. Real bread molds within days because it's made from natural ingredients that decompose. This bread is so loaded with preservatives that even bacteria won't eat it. If bacteria won't touch it, why are you putting it in your mouth? At $2.80 a loaf, it seems like a bargain when you're struggling with cost of living. But you're compromising your health and your family's health. The glycemic index on this bread is through the roof. It'll spike your blood sugar faster than eating straight glucose. If you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, this bread is poison. Number 7. Tip Top the One. Tip Top markets the One as their premium healthy option. The bag is plastered with claims about high protein and added fiber. Busy parents see those claims and think they're making a smart choice for their kids' lunches. Read the actual ingredients and you'll see it's a masterclass in deceptive marketing. Yes, it has added protein, but it's soy protein isolate, a highly processed ingredient that many people have digestive issues with. It's not real protein from whole foods. It's isolated protein manufactured in a factory. The fiber. It's added resistant starch and inulin, not natural fiber from whole grains. Your body processes these differently, and many people experience bloating and gas. Then look at the ingredient list length. Over 20 ingredients. 20 for bread. Why? Because it's a heavily engineered product designed in a lab, not a bakery. They've added gums, emulsifiers numbered 471, 472E, and 481, and preservatives to create a specific texture and shelf life that maximizes their profit margins. At $5.20 a loaf, you're paying for food science experiments, not real bread. And despite all the health claims screaming at you from the packaging, it still has 2.8 grams of sugar per slice and 350 milligrams of sodium. Tip Top is owned by George Weston Foods, a massive conglomerate that pulled in over $2 billion in revenue last year. They're banking on busy parents seeing high protein on the label and not reading further. Don't fall for it. Number 6. Abbott's Village Bakery Wholemeal. Abbott's Village Bakery. That name sounds wholesome and traditional, doesn't it? Village Bakery evokes images of a corner shop with a real baker in a white apron, pulling fresh loaves from a brick oven. It's marketing, pure marketing. This is factory bread owned by Goodman Fielder. Again, the same massive corporation we talked about with Helga's and Wonder White. They own multiple brands and sell you the same industrial bread under different names at different prices. The wholemeal range specifically is problematic because while it contains wholemeal flour, it's not whole grain. There's a huge difference that most people don't understand. Wholemeal flour is still refined. They've just kept some of the wheat components, but the grinding process is the same as white flour. Your body digests it almost as quickly. You're not getting the blood sugar benefits of true whole grain bread. Look at the additives. They've got vegetable oil, sugar, vinegar as a preservative, soy flour as a cheap filler, and mineral salts numbered 170, 341, 516, and 500. That number, 341, it's triclusium phosphate, used as an anti-caking agent. Your body doesn't need it. The bread doesn't need it. It's there to improve factory efficiency and shelf life. The ingredient count sits at 12. Real wholemeal bread needs 4 ingredients maximum: flour, water, yeast, and salt. That's it. The texture gives it away. It's that soft, fluffy consistency that shouldn't exist in real wholemeal bread. Actual wholemeal bread has density and structure. This is white bread tinted brown with marketing buzzwords slapped on the package. At $4.90 in a loaf, you think you're buying healthy bread for your family. You're getting fooled by clever labeling designed to separate you from your money while delivering the same processed garbage as their cheapest line. Number 5. Coles Bakery Bread. We're halfway through, and if you're starting to feel uneasy about what's been sitting in your pantry, good. That means you're paying attention. But here's the thing, we're only at number 5. The worst is still coming. Before we continue, if this information is changing how you think about feeding your family, hit that subscribe button. I'm going through every aisle of Australian supermarkets, and you need to see what I'm exposing next. We're investigating cereals, yogurts, cooking oils, all of it. Now let's talk about Coles Bakery Bread. Every loaf baked fresh in store at Coles. You walk past the bakery section and smell that fresh bread aroma. You see staff pulling golden loaves from ovens. It feels trustworthy. It feels real. Here's what they don't tell you. The dough arrives frozen from industrial production facilities. Store staff thaw it and bake it. That fresh bread smell is real, but the bread isn't made there. It's assembled there. It's theater designed to make you feel good about buying industrial bread at premium prices. The ingredient lists are partially hidden because it's classified as in-store bakery rather than packaged goods. But industry insiders have confirmed these loaves contain the full range of dough conditioners, preservatives, and emulsifiers that supermarket packaged bread contains. You're getting all the same chemicals without the transparency of a printed ingredient list. In 2020, multiple Coles stores in New South Wales had to remove bakery products due to possible contamination during production. The source? The central production facility where all the dough is made and frozen before being shipped to stores. You're paying $5 to $6 for bread that's barely better than packaged industrial loaves, but with less transparency about what's actually in it. And here's something that should make you suspicious. Coles Bakery Bread often shows visible mold within days of purchase, despite being loaded with preservatives. That tells you the storage and handling conditions are questionable at best. Number 4. Baker's Delight White Bread. This one surprises people because Baker's Delight has this image of being a proper bakery. You walk into any shopping center and you smell it. Fresh bread baking. The staff are wearing aprons. It feels authentic. Australian-owned family company. It feels right, doesn't it? Here's the reality most people don't know. Most Baker's Delight stores receive frozen dough from central production facilities. They thaw it and bake it on site. That fresh bread smell is absolutely real, but the bread isn't made there. It's the same theater we just talked about with Coles. You're paying for the performance of fresh baking while getting industrially produced dough. Check the ingredient list on their standard white bread. Despite being baked fresh daily, it's still loaded with additives. They use improvers and conditioners to speed up the rising process so they can pump out more loaves per day and maximize profit per square meter of retail space. These dough conditioners include things like azodicarbonamide. You know what else contains azodicarbonamide? Yoga mats and shoe soles. It's banned in Europe, and Australia is considering banning it, but it's currently legal. This chemical has been linked to respiratory issues and allergic reactions in workers who handle it. Then there's the sugar content. Even though it's not listed prominently on the bag screaming at you, there's 3 grams of sugar per slice. That's more than a teaspoon of sugar in every 2 slices of your fresh baked bread. Baker's Delight charges premium prices, around $5.50 a loaf, because they've positioned themselves as the alternative to industrial supermarket bread. Their entire brand is built on being different, being better, being local. Yet their white bread ingredient list looks nearly identical to the big corporate brands they claim to be better than. You're paying double for marketing and the smell of baking bread wafting through the shopping center. That's it. If you're buying from Baker's Delight, stick to their actual artisan sourdough loaves, not the standard white that's coming from frozen dough. Number 3. Bergen. Now we're entering truly ugly territory. The brands that make me genuinely angry because they know better but choose profit over people every single time. Bergen markets itself as the healthy choice. The packaging screams nutrition, whole grains, added protein, vitamins and minerals. Soccer moms love it. Gym guys swear by it. And it costs $7 a loaf, so it must be quality, right? Let me show you what you're actually buying. Bergen contains wheat gluten, soy protein, canola oil, vinegar, cultured wheat, and a chemical cocktail of emulsifiers including 471, 472E, 472E, 472. That 472 emulsifier? It's made using acetic acid derived from petroleum. Read that again. Petroleum. You're being sold health food that contains oil refinery byproducts. The protein boost they advertise so prominently on every package comes from added soy and wheat gluten isolates. These are cheap industrial proteins, not whole food sources. They're manufacturing protein in factories and adding it to bread so they can charge you premium prices. Bergen is owned by Tip Top, which means George Weston Foods profits from both the budget bread and the premium health bread. They've mastered the game, sell cheap bread to price-conscious families struggling with cost of living, and expensive bread to health-conscious ones willing to pay more. Make massive profit margins on both. Here's something that should shake your trust. In 2018, Tip Top facilities had a contamination scare involving mold spores found in ventilation systems. The recall affected multiple brands, including Bergen. Your $7 health bread came from the same facility that had to shut down for deep cleaning because mold was growing in the air handling systems. The markup on this bread is obscene. It cost them maybe 80 cents to produce, and they're selling it to you for $7, nearly 900% markup. While Australian families struggle to afford groceries during a cost of living crisis, these corporations are posting record profits. Number 2. Mighty Soft. This is where I get truly furious, because this bread is marketed primarily to parents for kids' school lunches. Mighty Soft. The name itself tells you everything. Bread shouldn't be mighty soft. Bread should have structure, substance, texture. The softness in this bread comes from a horrifying cocktail of chemicals and industrial processing that has nothing to do with nutrition and everything to do with creating an addictive texture that makes kids want to eat it. Let's start with the ingredients. Enriched wheat flour, which means nutritionally dead flour, with synthetic vitamins added back. Then high fructose corn syrup, vegetable oil, and a preservative cocktail that includes calcium propionate, sodium stearoyl lactylate, and DATM, which are emulsifiers linked to gut inflammation. Studies have shown these emulsifiers can damage your intestinal lining and contribute to inflammatory bowel disease. The research is there. The evidence exists. But Food Standards Australia and New Zealand allows it, so companies use as much as they want. The sugar content is absolutely criminal. 4.2 grams per slice. 4 grams. Your kids are eating candy bread for lunch. 2 slices contain more sugar than a small chocolate bar. This causes massive blood sugar spikes followed by crashes, which is exactly why kids get hyperactive then crash after lunch. Teachers have literally told me they can identify which kids ate Mighty Soft for lunch based on their behavior patterns in the afternoon. The sugar spike gives them energy and poor focus. Then the crash leaves them irritable and unable to concentrate. The glycemic index is off the charts. This bread converts to blood sugar faster than white rice. If you're feeding this to your children daily, you're programming their developing bodies for obesity and type 2 diabetes. Their brains are getting sugar crashes right when they need to concentrate and learn at school. The texture is like memory foam. It compresses to nothing when you squeeze it and springs back. That's not food texture. That's chemical engineering designed to appeal to children who've been conditioned by processed food to expect that artificial softness. And here's what makes me want to scream. Mighty Soft costs $3.90 a loaf. That's not even cheap. You're paying nearly $4 for bread that's actively harming your family's health. The marketing shows happy kids with school lunches, making parents think this is a convenient, acceptable choice. It's not. It's poison in a colorful bag designed to appeal to children while exploiting parents' desire to feed their kids something they'll actually eat. And now, number one, the absolute worst offender. This is hands down the bread that makes me angrier than all the others combined. If you have this in your house right now, I'm begging you to throw it out. Number one, Woolworth's Macro Organic Bread. Yes, the organic one, the one you're paying $9 for. $9 for a single loaf of bread. Here's why this takes the top spot as the worst bread you can buy in Australia, worse than Mighty Soft, worse than all of them. This bread is marketed as organic, wholesome, clean. Everything health-conscious parents want. The label shows wheat fields and sunshine. The word organic is plastered across the front in big, reassuring letters. Parents buy this thinking they're protecting their children. They're willing to pay $9, which is genuinely difficult for many families right now because they believe it's worth it. But look closer at what organic actually means in this context. The organic certification only applies to the wheat flour. Everything else can still be conventional. It still contains added gluten to improve texture, vegetable oils to extend shelf life, and preservatives that meet organic standards but aren't necessary in real bread. You're paying $9 for bread that's marginally better than conventional loaves, but nowhere near what actual organic artisan bread should be. Woolworth knows exactly what they're doing. They're exploiting your desire to feed your family well. They're charging premium prices for products that cost them barely more to produce than their regular line. The markup is obscene, criminal. This is corporate greed wrapped in green packaging and feel-good marketing designed to extract maximum money from families who care about health. What makes this unforgivable, what puts it at number one, is the betrayal of trust. When a parent struggling with cost of living spends $9 on bread, sacrificing that money from their tight budget, they believe they're making a real difference for their family's health. They're not. They're funding Woolworth's profit margins while getting bread that's only slightly better than the cheapest option on the shelf. And Woolworths knows it. They know exactly what they're doing. And they do it anyway because the profit margins are too good to resist. Here's what you need to understand about everything we've just covered. The same 6 chemicals showed up in almost every brand. Calcium propionate, sorbic acid, emulsifiers 471, 472E, 472 roll, 472 nuns, different labels, different prices, different marketing stories, same formulations. That's not an accident. 3 corporations control this market and they've all decided to maximize profit by using the cheapest possible ingredients and the longest possible shelf life. Australia's food regulators allow this because they prioritize industry concerns over consumer health. Bread prices have increased 35% faster than inflation over the last 5 years. While ingredient quality has declined, you're paying more and getting less. During a cost of living crisis, these companies are posting record profits by selling you industrial food products dressed up as real bread. But here's the good news. There are better options. They cost more. I'm not going to lie to you about that, but let me show you 3 brands available across Australia that are genuinely worth your money. Real bread made with real ingredients by people who actually care about what they're producing. Number 3. Lawson's Stone-Baked Sourdough. Available at independent grocers and select IGA stores across New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland. About $4 to $6 per loaf, depending on location. Here's what makes this different. The ingredient list is flour, water, salt, and sourdough culture. 4 ingredients. That's what bread should be. The sourdough uses natural fermentation instead of commercial yeast. The fermentation takes 18 to 24 hours. During that time, beneficial bacteria break down compounds that can irritate sensitive stomachs and reduce the glycemic impact. This bread won't spike your blood sugar like industrial bread. Each slice gives you approximately 4 grams of fiber and 6 grams of protein. The texture is substantial, dense. It actually fills you up and keeps you satisfied for hours because your body recognizes it as real food. Best for toast and sandwiches where you want staying power without the afternoon crash. The catch is shelf life. It lasts about 4 days, so buy what you'll use or slice it and freeze half immediately. Toast slices straight from frozen. This is your middle ground option. Better than industrial bread. Accessible pricing available in multiple states. Number 2. Summer Bakery Sourdough. Available at independent grocers, select IGAs, and through online delivery across New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, and South Australia. $10 per loaf. This brand specializes in traditional long fermentation sourdough with zero compromises. The ingredients are organic wheat flour, water, sea salt, and sourdough starter. 4 ingredients. Every loaf ferments for a minimum of 36 hours. Research from Monash University shows that bread fermented for over 24 hours has significantly lower levels of FODMAPs, which are compounds that trigger bloating, gas, and digestive pain in sensitive individuals. If you struggle with gut issues, this matters. Each slice provides 6 grams of fiber and 8 grams of protein. The glycemic index is remarkably low, which means your blood sugar rises gradually and stays stable for 3 to 4 hours. No spike, no crash, no desperate hunger an hour after eating. The taste is complex and tangy but balanced. Deep flavor that comes from real fermentation, not artificial additives. It doesn't need butter or spreads to taste good, though it's excellent with them. The price reflects the time, the organic ingredients, and the skill required to maintain a living sourdough culture and produce consistent quality. Slice it and freeze it immediately. You'll have premium bread available for a month. Number 1. Bowen Island Bakery Traditional Sourdough. Available at independent grocers across New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria. Selected Woolworths and Coles stores, farmers markets, and through online delivery nationwide. $11 per loaf. This is the gold standard. The bread that gets everything right. The ingredients are organic Australian wheat flour, filtered water, sea salt, and a natural sourdough starter maintained for over 20 years. 4 ingredients. The fermentation process runs 48 to 72 hours depending on ambient temperature. Every loaf is hand-mixed, hand-shaped, and baked in stone hearth ovens. The nutritional profile is outstanding. 7 grams of fiber per slice. 9 grams of protein. Minerals including iron, magnesium, selenium, and zinc that your body can actually absorb because the long fermentation breaks down phytic acid that normally blocks mineral absorption. Research from the University of Sydney shows that traditionally fermented sourdough supports beneficial gut bacteria while reducing inflammation markers in blood tests. This isn't just bread. This is medicine that happens to taste incredible. The flavor is everything bread should be. Complex tang from fermentation, crispy dark crust that shatters, chewy interior with irregular holes that prove real fermentation happened. At $11, it's premium but not prohibitive. The distribution across 4 states means most Australians can access it either locally or through delivery, and the consistency is exceptional. Here's your action plan. Start this week. Buy 1 loaf from this list. Replace your worst bread habit. Give it 2 weeks. Your palate will adapt. Your body will thank you. Within 1 week, watch for less bloating. Within 2 weeks, more stable energy throughout the day. Within 30 days, better digestion, clearer thinking, possibly weight loss without effort. This principle applies to everything you eat. Small swaps create massive health transformation over time. If this video opened your eyes to what's really in your bread, smash that like button and share this with your family and friends. They need to know this information too. Subscribe to the channel because I'm exposing more Aussie products that are ripping you off and ruining your health. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next video. Comment below which product you want me to investigate next. Cereals, yogurt, cooking oils. I'm taking on every aisle. Your family deserves real food, not chemical experiments dressed up as nutrition. I'll see you in the next one.